confidence isn't the only way to communicate. Vulnerability is another communication. Not to be susceptible to an attack, which the definition definitely puts in there. There's a way to communicate where vulnerability is an access point to connect with, to connect to share with. If your only way to access vulnerable behaviors and way of communication is to be hostile toward it, that means to wound is the direction you're taking. That's what the definition is. If you're vulnerable and someone's being antagonistic to that, they're not going to be breathing life into you and into me. Confidence seems to be the key into many conversations where people connect with, where they will give you an answer to. Show me confidence and I'll definitely give you an answer. Well, then we won't go very far. I'm in a personal setting. A professional setting, I understand having confidence in the work we do. A personal setting, there's going to be times where I'm not going to have a confidence to know who you are. Just as much when somebody doesn't understand completely when I've changed. And I have. And I've seen the reactions to the changes I've made in the last couple of years. And there were many people who didn't have confidence in me. So you won't find out much about me if you're living off the confidence of what I was. But if you live off the vulnerability I have now, where I'm not being used or taken advantage of, or the power moves that are being logically used against me, I'm recognizing them, I'm getting away from them. Or I'm just not connecting with them anymore deeply. And I'm doing better not to give advice and not to overshare. Where my vulnerability not necessarily won't come out, but more it won't amalgamate a situation where it gets too complicated. Where there's too much tension or sort of like, okay, I don't know what to do with this. I'm understanding that and I'm pulling back. That's where vulnerable is more about if we share the vulnerable. It's not to wound or it's not to show a weakness. It's more to show, hey, you know what? This is a part of me that I want to be sharing. And I want to understand. And I want to move through. And truly, for my understanding now, that's the best way for me to move forward with it and to not be vulnerable in those exchanges and to find confidence even in my vulnerability. So, I'm letting myself know that I won't share with people who are antagonistic toward my vulnerability, who are literally dismantling it with temporal views of things. It's not very engaging, and it shows how much, if you do understand where I stood with the people I was with before and the people I was around, I'm not that same person. But it's okay. It takes a lot of time for people to really recognize that and want to be okay with that and want to put themselves forward in that relationship with where I am. Stay in your lane, just like myself, and not ask for someone to be the same person that I have in my relationship, but to have a fulfilling relationship with them that isn't about the ineffability of what vulnerability is, but instead engaging in it with love and confidence.